Welcome to PFACS on EcoDev, the show that takes you inside the economic development of Pflugerville, Texas. I'm your host, Chris Daly, and each episode we will introduce you to the people and events that make our city so attractive to companies and their employees. Pfluger Talk is just another of the impactful initiatives created by the PCDC, Pflugerville Community Development Corporation. All right, everybody, join me in welcoming Amy Madison to the show. Amy, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How about you, Chris?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm excited to tell the story of the PCDC, and if you could, explain what that is for new people.
Well, it's not a disease, I promise. Pflugerville Community Development Corporation. That's Pflugerville with a PF. We call it a really fun city.
I like that. So for people who may have heard of the terms EDC or in this case CDC, what is a development corporation?
Well, in the state of Texas, we actually have a specific role for economic development corporations that can be appointed by a city. It has to go through an election with the voters to hold a half-cent back for economic development purpose. There's two types, a type A and a type B. Not a lot of difference in some ways. We are a type B corporation, just means we can do a few more things than what a type A can do. They're specifically for primary job recruitment, primary corporations. We can do a few other things that include sports arena, recreational things. But the half cent that our voters in Pflugerville passed funds the corporation's activity, and we are able to do a variety of things. If you look at it as the developer of the community, that's what we do. We can do anything a developer can do within the law to create jobs and bring new capital investment. So roads, infrastructure, we can build buildings, we can lease, we can do just a little bit of everything to recruit and retain companies.
Nice. And so when was the PCDC originally started?
It was August 2001. We are now big kids. We're 22 years old, sorry. And so we kind of have grown up, and we're real excited about that. We celebrated our 20th year not too long ago and brought back all our past alumni that had served on our board over all those years. It was quite a celebration.
Oh, I bet. And how long have you held this role?
Well, I've been in Pflugerville working for the corporation since January 2014. I was appointed executive director in July 2015, interimly, and then I was appointed the permanent executive director in January of 2016. So a while.
Nice. Yes, and
it has been nice.
And I originally met you back in San Marcos. What is your path to becoming this? What other roles have you had?
Interestingly enough, I started in Oklahoma. I was working for a vocational school, and I was a business development director there. That was my first real road to economic development. And when I got to Texas, I started in economic development as a director at the city of Schertz, Texas. And from there moved on up to San Marcos. I was there for 6.5 years, and then here to Pflugerville and going on my 10th year.
Wow, lovely. I like that. And so if somebody comes up to you and says, okay, so what have y'all done? What is a quick success story that comes to mind?
In Pflugerville, I would say it would have to be the development of the 130 Business Park. It had such an impact on the community. We bought 169 acres and developed out the roads, the infrastructure, sold the parcels, use those in some case to incentivize companies. In total, we've invested probably close to 1.5 million square feet in this facility and close to 1,500 jobs at this point. We're almost built out, and we have plans to extend our road further south and potentially develop some other additional property that we're trying to purchase. So we are, I would say that as a long-term project. But I would have to say, Chris, that when we brought Amazon in the middle of the pandemic, that was a single project that had as much impact as we had in this entire industrial park that it took us all these years to develop. We did that in 1 year with the Amazon deal, 3.8 million square feet. It was huge, brought jobs in the middle of a pandemic that was needed, and the investment, $350 million in our community, bam. So I think from a big splash, it was Amazon. From, a continuous effort, it was certainly the 130 Business Park.
Nice. And so for companies that are considering, where they're going to relocate or initially develop, what are some of the demographics of Pflugerville that are appealing to companies?
Well, the demographics we're really, really growing very, very rapidly. Our community has grown significantly. We're approximately 75,000 population now. We have a very diverse population. We're probably the most diverse in the entire, Central Texas area, not to mention the state of Texas. It's a real attraction positive from that standpoint. It's one thing to say you want a higher diverse population, but if you don't have it, you can't do it. We're a place where you certainly can do that. We're also growing rapidly. We're seeing our population expand, and we're seeing really great companies moving to our area. When we first started working with the industrial park years ago, there weren't a lot of jobs that were actually here in the city. That has completely flipped around. We have a lot of places for people to work now and some really great housing. So I think that from a standpoint of just livability, we've got that handled. Our transportation is really super good, adding SH-130 and SH-45 that just basically surrounds our city, provides us a lot of option in transport, whether we're trying to transport people and or product. It is becoming a major thoroughfare in the state of Texas for all that to happen. And from tip to toe, we've got a little bit of everything in terms of either entertainment and or housing, product, and opportunity from a job perspective too. And a lot of that has been what we as an organization have brought to our community. Most of these companies we have recruited in the past 14 years. So that says an awful lot about what the voters did in bringing forward an organization like ours. But, we have seen that change so that people are not having to drive out for work like they were when we first started this organization.
Nice. And you mentioned entertainment. What are some of the attractions when it comes to entertainment and environment in the area?
Well, the entertainment that we have is so close. I mean, we always say we're not Austin, but we're close. But that has so many advantages. So we have all the amenities of the entire area, in Travis County and Williamson as well. So we're only 15 minutes from about anything you'd want to do. And that's what's really great. We've got a great water park, PCDC. That was one of our projects, too, to bring entertainment here to the community. And that has been thriving over the years. It's a really great family fun place that operates every day of the year with opening their new restaurant called The Patio. And then, of course, during summer season, they hire a lot of our students and that are looking for employment. And that water park is a great opportunity to come bring your family and be entertained. We have other places too, great places to eat. Our shopping center, town center is a go-to for the entire region, actually, in terms of product and food and entertainment, as well as just shopping. So we've got a lot going on.
Nice. And you mentioned the improvement in transportation. The knock against Travis County has been that whole I-35 corridor being just a bear when it comes to travel. What is the state of transportation, and do you have some projects coming up in that area?
Well, first of all, SH-130, before we had it, all we had was pecan that ran through our community. We didn't have any major highways. So we've been growing up around existing highway only since 2006. Now, that may sound like a long time ago, but it really isn't. And when you stop and think about that and what's happened because of that infrastructure coming through here, it's been tremendous. It's opened up the world to us. We can get to the airport quicker than people in Austin can. And that's because of that interstate. But it is one of the fastest in the country. And really, truly, it's provided the opportunity for us to bring new companies here because we're searching land opportunities along major infrastructure highways, which SH-130 is certainly that. But I think beyond that, we also are fortunate that we have great city leadership that has really thought about that whole transportation issue, whether it's getting to work or getting to the brew pub. It's the same kind of thing, making sure that we can provide more options even for our seniors that are living here. And so this past year, we launched Fetch a Ride, which provides discounted rides for people who are going to a geo-fenced area within the city. It's really a new concept, and it's Uber-like. I mean, that's what it is. It's an Uber program. But what we're able to do is to provide for that extra funding for them to go to some of the places where they shop and or work. And we're looking at trying to expand the program further, but it has low overhead from a standpoint of, subsidizing an entire transit system that is so expensive and many times underutilized in the community. So we're being very, very specific about what we're incentivizing, what we are deciding we want to see as transport, where we want them to go, and providing that support for those seniors that need those doctor office visits.
That's awesome. That is so cool. So moving forward, what trends are you seeing just in general in Central Texas and Pflugerville in particular?
Trends, and that's a big picture there.
Yeah.
Well, we are seeing, I think, some relief a little bit from, I know this sounds awful, but from the economy slowing down just a hair. It helps us with our workforce. It's so important for a lot of our companies to really do well and to excel. And I think even though it is, there's two sides of that coin, but I definitely feel like it's giving us some time, a breather, to be able to catch up, not just with employment, but also with supply chain. And that has been also at a premium, and those costs are really sent all the way down to each and every one of us that pays taxes. So trying to figure out ways to curb some of that inflation and the issues that are caused from supply and demand and supply chain issues is really important. And I think it's going to have positive impacts on the communities in the end. So I think that that little bit of slowing that we're seeing right now has in its own way provided us a chance to kind of catch up as a state and as a community as well.
Right. And so ideally you're looking to attract companies to the area. How does that engagement happen? Do you go out and seek and advertise how great Pflugerville is? Do they reach out to you? What is the process there? Well,
our process is, we have several different avenues of how we do that. First of all, we always enjoy being able to tell our story, but we think it's better if somebody else tells it for us. So one of the
Right.
ways that we try to communicate who we are as a community is to do just that. We focus on, stories that really tell about some of the things that have happened with some of the companies that we've brought here, and we advertise those in magazines that provide, circulation to C-suite and to people that are outside of our area and internationally as well that are reading some of the publications where we advertise. But again, we're not just selling location. We try to get unique and tell inside stories about our community through the eyes of others, and it's been a very powerful tool. We do a lot of marketing trips with a lot of the groups that we are associated with. We're strong members of the Texas Economic Development Council, and we have a Team Texas that we participate in, and we market throughout the country and internationally as well, the state of Texas and our individual communities through that group. We work with the governor's office. They also have a group that does some recruitment. And then Opportunity Austin, which is our regional group locally. We've been very, very successful working with their team and helping to promote the region in any of our market trips that we've taken. Beyond that, we do an awful lot of social media and really pushing out stories about our community and what's happening here to others. I'm just about ready to, tomorrow I go to the Site Selectors Guild meeting in San Antonio, where I'll meet with a lot of site selectors from all over the world that are looking to locate projects. And it is still, believe it or not, Chris, it's still a people game. It is about relationships and keeping those good relationships going with those experts that work with a lot of the Fortune 500 is not a bad thing. I serve on the Industrial Asset Management Council. On their board as one of 2 EDOs in the country to be represented. It's an honor to be there, but it also is a great way for me to stay in touch with the people that are really, really making those decisions. And so we try to do a little bit of everything, but we try to do everything we do with high quality and efficiency.
Excellent. And hopefully this podcast series will help tell some of those stories as well. I guess finally, if somebody's reading an article that is about Pflugerville or listening to the show and going, oh, Pflugerville sounds interesting, how do they get in touch with you guys?
Well, the best way is just to call us. We have our website at pfdevelopment.com. They can reach out that way. My cell phone's even listed out there. They can call me directly. They can call others in our organization. Texting is great, and we love to get emails. So all of our email addresses are available on our webpage. And if you can't find me that way, then I don't know how else you'd find me. It's pretty easy.
I like it. And we'll definitely put all of that in the show notes. Amy Madison, gosh, I want to thank you so much for sitting down and sharing some of this story. I think it's amazing.
Well, it's been good talking to you too, Chris. And listen, I just want you to have a really great day, and thank you for spending a little bit of time with us and learning a little more about Pflugerville, where we're just absolutely focused on the future.
I love it. Thank you for listening to the PFAX on EcoDev show, brought to you by the Pflugerville Community Development Corporation. I'm your host, Chris Daly. I want to thank my guests. I also especially want to thank you, the listener, for giving me what I consider the most important gift you can, your time, your attention. Please like and share this show so we can get it in front of more people and more people can learn about economic development. To learn more about Pflugerville and all the amazing things going on, head over to pfdevelopment.com.